Hi folks! Well, Grandpa's back after my successful hip surgery. I'm sorry for missing some updates and producing new material, but the doctor put me on the disabled list for a spell. I'm still on light duty. Here I am a few weeks ago, assisted by one of my grandbabies. For this video, I managed to put together a project that I think you'll really like on one of the most spectacular flowers I've ever come across. These are dwarf sweet williams, and I don't think I've seen anything as beautiful as these pink, red, and white flowers. Now, I began this project last year, so this will give you a good perspective from beginning to end, or beginning to intermediate. I started my seeds in the Germination lab in February of last year, 2025. So that means now nearly 18 months later, we can watch the progress from germination to first flush and beyond. We'll harvest seeds in this video and get them ready for this year, a September-October plant out. Here's a clip from last year. Well, here's some sweet williams. Beautiful plants, so I'm told, and from the pictures. I planted these from seed, let's see, in my germination lab back on February 11th. And I think they're ready to go out, be planted out in the garden today. We're going to plant these in clusters. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10. It's time for these babies to go out. I think we got some good roots growing. I've picked out a perfect spot for them, so let's go out and plant these in the garden. Now we're ready to put these out, and hopefully they'll root, and we'll see what happens this year. So join me. This will be an experiment. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll check back on it throughout the season. And here's what they look like up close. Looks like they're pretty healthy. They were started in a tray and then potted out in these, I think these are 6-inch pots. We get roots coming out the bottom, so it's telling us, hey, I'm ready to find my permanent place in the ground. Well, that was June 2025, last year. And please remember, I'm still a rookie at gardening, and everything's an experiment to me. I'm learning as I grow. And my garden isn't filled with a bunch of nursery-grown flowers and ornamentals that you might see on other YouTube channels. Virtually everything in my garden has been grown either from seed or propagated from other flowers or ornamentals. So here's what we did last year, June 2025, and how they came out this spring in April 2026. Wow, look at those blooms. Those beautiful pink, white, red. Gorgeous. So as they began to fade with the hot Alabama sun here in July, it was time to begin to harvest some seeds. Some for the germination lab that will put in seed trays, and some to direct sow in the fall. So as you can see, I deadheaded the dried flowers and took them to the lab. I call it the germination lab. It's where I conduct my experiments. Well, here we fashioned an old spice container to separate the tiny seeds. Some went into seed trays and some will be direct sowed in the fall. Just look at how tiny they are. So I wanted to plant these sweet williams in some different areas of my garden, and I wanted to give some to my friends. And I wanted to expand the patch of sweet williams that we already have growing too. Sweet williams are fairly low growing in height. These are a dwarf variety, and they'll make a spectacular show, especially if planted in front of virtually any array of flowers that you've already got. We saved some for direct sowing and to expand the existing patch. So as you can see, some were planted in seed trays on July 11th, 2026, just recently. And within a week, on July 19th, the cotyledons, that's just a fancy word for the first green shoots that come pushing through. Those that come out before the first true leaves. I was delighted to see how fast these germinated. So there you go. I'm so glad to be back in the garden, although on light duty. But I want to address my highly valued audience personally. I really appreciate all of you who watch and comment on my videos. I'm just a humble retired guy who has taken up this hobby, who enjoys learning something new every day, and who gets a thrill of seeing the first sign of green shoots or the first sign of my plants coming up in the spring. I'm not an expert by any means. I'm a real grandpa, and my grandbabies often help me in the germination lab or in the garden, or sometimes bringing me a glass of cold water when I really need it. But I want to thank you for tuning in and liking and subscribing. Send me a note. Tell me what you're doing or what you'd like to see me try. More videos are on the way and some updates on the forget-me-nots and the creeping time and some other things. Until next time, best wishes from Grandpa Dixie. See you all later.